don't know about you, but this time of the year, I always start thinking about harvest, and I wanted to incorporate some harvest DIYs into my decor. Hi, my name is Leslie, and welcome to Happy Tuesday, where we do crafts and DIY and home decor and more. Today I have for you 5 super cute projects that represent harvest and add some cuteness to your DIY decor. So let's get started. Let's take a quick sneak peek into all 5 of today's projects. I think they are adorable, and that will bring us to project number 1. I love miniatures, and I know lots of you do too, so this is the perfect project. We are going to take some water and a little bit of Elmer's glue, about 50-50, and mix that all together. And then I got this wrap of burlap, this roll of burlap from the Dollar Tree in their fabric section. And I took one of their little metal tins that I'm going to use the lid on in another DIY in this video, so stay tuned. And I wrapped that burlap all the way around the little tin and held it down with a thick rubber band. And then I am going to paint this glue and water mixture all over, and once I get it kind of started, then I'm going to totally saturate it, and I'm going to just dunk it inside that little bowl and make sure that we have a really good thick coating of that glue and water. That's going to serve 2 purposes. It kind of wets the burlap to form it, and it will also stiffen the burlap to make it into that basket form. And once I've got that all good and covered, I am going to just grab one of my little bottles of chalk paint, and I am going to set this on top so that it can dry. Now, I started drying it with one of my heat guns, but then just left it overnight to dry. And now I'm going to carefully just loosen the basket away from the edges of that little metal tin. And then I'm going to cut all the rough edges and give it my little basket shape. Isn't that adorable? And once I've gotten that all done, I am going to take some of my paper wire and I'm going to cut 2 little pieces, and these will be the handles. Now, as I shoved the little paper wire into the mesh of this basket, the paper part actually pushed away and just the metal part came through, and that was perfect to be able to fold over and hold as a little handle. And I'm going to go ahead and put the second one in, and the basket part of this project will be complete. And you can use this basket for all kinds of things. You could make some miniature blankets and stick in there, or make it into a little dog bed, maybe add a fabric insert, and all kinds of things. But for my fall decor, and probably it's going to sit on my tiered tray, I grabbed some of these little red wooden apples, and painted them red with the brown stems from the Dollar Tree. And isn't this just adorable? I love it. And that will bring us to project number 2. This project actually reminds me of a Halloween costume that I made for my oldest daughter whenever she was first born. She was peas in a pod. So we are going to take some of the Dollar Tree beads and some of that paper wire, and then I mixed up my own color of green with several different shades, kind of give it a little pea color, and then use the little skewers from the Dollar Tree to hold all the beads while I painted them, and got paint all the way around. And once I got all 24 beads painted, then I'm going to add 6 onto either side of this paper wire piece. And it's about, I want to say I cut about an 8-inch piece of wire and doubled it over, so that I could have big enough space for 6 peas in a pod and have 2 pea pods together. My daughter thought it would make a really cute door hanger, but I'm going to stick it on my tier tray. So once I've gotten that all complete, then I'm going to figure out how much of the green felt that I'm going to need to make the little pod around my peas. And once I've got that cut out and situated, then I am going to fold over the felt into thirds so that I can cut the other 3 pods for the other peas. And once I've gotten those all trimmed down and separated and ready to go, then I am going to start gluing these onto the little peas. And now I figured about where I wanted the hanger part to be, and so I laid the felt underneath my peas and kind of gathered them all together, and then just stick a little bit of hot glue on one end and secure that, and then a little bit of hot glue on the other end and pinch that. And then I'll add a little bit of hot glue on the inside of that pod just so that it sticks to the peas well and looks really secure and cute. And then I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut down the 2 edges kind of in a rounded sort of way. And then I'll go ahead and do the other pea for this set of pea pods in exactly the same way. We're just going to glue those ends together and then push all the peas so that they meet, and then we'll glue the other end together, and we will glue the insides of the pod to the peas to keep that secure, and then I will trim down the edges. And once I have that done for all 4 of the pea pods, then we will move on to decorating. I love fresh peas, and one of my favorite things growing up was to go grab peas out of our garden and just eat them straight away right out of the pea pods. Now, once I've gotten that all done and that's all dry and secured, then I am going to trim down the ends and kind of finish off those edges so that it looks like a little pea pod. And then I'm going to grab some twine and wrap it around and make a little bow, kind of secure down my little pea pod hanger there and trim that down. It's just as, and I just tied a simple shoestring bow right there with that little hanger with the twine. And once I've gotten that all situated the way I want it, then I'm going to take a little bit of this floral wire, and I believe I bought this at the Dollar Tree. I honestly don't remember, but I'm going to take one of my paintbrushes and twirl it around and make the little pea tendrils for my pea pod. And once I've gotten both of those done, then I will glue those onto either side, one for each pea pod. Do you like to eat fresh peas? I think the closest way to get to fresh peas is actually using frozen peas, and my mom used to boil the water, dunk the frozen peas in long enough to thaw, is pretty much all that they did, and took them out, and they tasted just like fresh peas out of the garden. Which is your favorite, frozen peas or canned peas or no peas? Let me know in the comments below. And once I've gotten those little tendrils all secured, then I am going to grab some little leaves from my floral stash and pick out a little kind of pea-sized leaf, and we will add those on as well. I don't remember where I got this particular greenery from. It probably came from Dollar Tree, most likely. And we're just going to add a little bit of hot glue onto the back side of that leaf and secure it down. And this project will be complete. Super simple. But I just love the way the beads really do look like peas, and I love the way this is looking on my tiered tray. What do you think? And here are both of my pea pod couples all put together, and I think they are adorable. And that will bring us to project number 3. Now, last week I did some funky little acorns using leftover Easter eggs, and this week I found this little pick from the Dollar Tree, and I thought, well, they're already acorns, I'm just gonna zhuzh them up a little bit. And so I'm first gonna separate that from the pick, and then I will add a nice couple of coats of, this is sandstone chalk paint by Waverly, And then I'm going to take one of my pine cones. Now, if you guys have a source of pine cones, I love to use these in my decor. And we'll be doing several things over Christmas that use the pine cones too. So collect them as you find them. And I'm going to take my handy dandy little wire cutter from Harbor Freight and cut out all these little pine cone pieces. And then I'm just going to take some hot glue and stick a movie on and just start hot gluing those little pine cone pieces to my acorn top. And I'm just going to glue them all the way around, and once I get the first layer done, then I'm going to go in with the second layer, and I'll just kind of take the next row of pine cone pieces and place them in between two of the first layer's piece, so that it's kind of a little bit offset. And I'll do that all the way to the top. So here we'll go and we'll start that second row. So this piece will kind of go in between those two bottom pieces. Now the hot glue can get a little bit messy, but this wasn't a project I was worrying about burning myself with, because that pine cone piece does cover up all the glue that I set down, but it did get, squished out from the edges. And here we go. We're just going to stick in our little twig stem, and then we will finish adding some little pine cone pieces around the stem at the top just to complete the look. And this one will be complete. Now the next one, we're going to go ahead and paint it a different color. I believe I used hazelnut on it, and then we'll go in with the pine cone pieces, but only part way up with the pine cone pieces. And then we're going to take some twine, and starting at the base of our little stick stem, we're going to just put a little bit of hot glue and then layer that twine around, and we'll continue going around and around in the circle until we get just inside that last layer of pine cone pieces. And I love the different textures this has, and it just makes it a super unique looking pine cone. And then the last one that we did, we used the pine cone pieces. We're doing an acorn. Did I say pine cone just a minute ago? I meant acorn. Anyway, the last one, we are going to take those pine cone pieces and we're going to do the entire top, but instead of painting the bottom part of this acorn, we are going to use some yarn. And I just grabbed something that kind of went with my decor. It's in gray colors, and that I thought would look really cute with the pine cones, and I wrapped that all up. And here we are. I don't even know where I got this yarn. It's been something in my craft supplies I've had for years, but I am just going to run a bead of hot glue and then add on the yarn until I get all the way to where I'm going to put the pine cone pieces, and then the pine cone pieces will cover the entire top, and this project is complete. I love the different textures in all three of these little pine cones, and you can see the pine cones there from last week. And if you missed that video, I will have it linked below so that you can go back and watch that one and see those pine cones. But I think all of these pine cones are going to look so cool in my decor. And that brings us to project number 4. Now this started out as just a simple little project. I got 2 of these little trucks and one of the little crates from the Dollar Tree, and I was just going to paint the trucks white and with little black tires, and then put the painted box inside as the kind of tailgate pickup bed truck. There we go. But then once I looked at it, I decided it just needed a little bit more, and so I'm going to take some of this cardboard that I had laying around, scrap, and I'm going to cut it to wrap around and make the front part of the truck. And once I've gotten that all cut, then I took some of this caulk from the Dollar Tree and I put the caulk all around. Now this was two-purposed. One, to kind of give it a barrier so that the cardboard piece wouldn't warp whenever it got wet, and two, I wanted it to still be moldable so that we can roll it around and glue it down to the front part of that truck. And that will be the base then for our spackling that we'll get ready to do here in a minute. So I am just taking a bead of hot glue and running it down the edge of the front part of that truck and securing our cardboard down, and then I will roll it off underneath there just to give that little bumper a finished look. And I cut my cardboard just a little bit bigger than what I needed, so now I'm going to take my scissors and trim that down, and then I'm going to take a utility knife and cut out the front windshield. Then I decided, since you could see the inside, since I cut out the front windshield, that I needed to paint the inside white as well. Once I've gotten that all done, then I'm going to mix that spackling with a little bit of water and create kind of a, I guess it's a wood look maybe to my truck, but I wanted to kind of stiffen it up and give it more dimension, and so I am just going all over the whole truck with a little bit of that spackling and water, and then I'll take my handy dandy nail file and kind of file it down so that it's more smooth edges, and then I'll see where I need to go back and kind of fill it back in again. Now you could completely skip all these steps if you just wanted to put that crate inside the back and fill it, but I wanted this to look more like, you know, those farmhouse trucks, and then it can be used for any season. So I'm going back through with a little bit more spackling and a little bit more water just to kind of smooth it out and, you know, give it that kind of finished look to it. And then I will go back in once that is dry, and I will paint the entire spackling white, even though it's already white. Now, I found those little tins at the Dollar Tree, and I thought the lids would make really cute hubcaps to go underneath my wheels. So now I'm coming in with some white chalk paint and just painting the whole truck and kind of filling it in as we go. And then I'll take a little bit of the ink colored chalk paint and fill in my tires, and I ended up painting the inside and the outside of those tires because you can see it from the front, and I wanted it to really be finished. And once I've gotten all 4 tires painted off, then I will go ahead and glue in my lid hub caps. Oh, forgot, I did make a little bumper, so I've got some metallic paint that I got at Hobby Lobby on clearance, and I am just adding that onto the front as a little bumper. And the next thing I'm going to do is take some antique wax, and I'm going to run it along those little edges and fronts and back sides of that kind of truck bed. It makes it look kind of like fancy looking, wooden. And once I've gotten the antique wax all painted on there, then I'm going to just take a paper towel and rub off enough so that it still looks really rusticy and cute. And here we go. We're going to now glue in our hubcaps. And again, because you could see from the inside, I went in and painted those black as well. I wanted this to be kind of as finished as it could possibly look. So that, you know, it blends in with all my holiday decor, no matter what the holiday is. And since you're going to not be seeing the inside of those little posts, I didn't paint those, but I went ahead and glued in my little box as my truck bed. And then I'm going to take this straw that I bought at the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to take a bunch of it out. So I removed the wire pieces that were holding it all in there, and I took a bunch of it out. I'm going to take some of these faux pumpkins that I got from the Dollar Tree, and I am going to paint some of those an orangey kind of color and some of those more of a white, off-white type of color. And I will paint the stems over in truffle color and replace those back. and I thought that would be the end of this project once I got those pumpkins all painted and dried and inside my truck bed, but then I decided the truck needed a little bit more, and I may go back and add some more decor to it too, but for now I'm going to just finish it off with some headlights. So here's what it looked like when I thought I was going to be done, but you can see it still needs something more. So I found these little round wooden pieces in my craft supplies. I think I bought them in a big old Ziploc bag full of scrap wooden pieces at a thrift shop, and I filled those in with spackling so that it would be more of a circle kind of look, and then covered them with that same silver paint that I used for the bumper, and then I am going to glue this onto the front as the headlights, and this project will be complete. I think this turned out so stinking cute, and you know how expensive those metal trucks are, but for just a few dollars I made one of my own, and I love it. Tell me what you think below. As you can see, I have a red truck that's sitting there, and I have another red truck that I use with my decor too, but I love this white one. I just think it's just adorable, and I know I'll be able to use it for other seasons too. And that will bring us to our final project, project number 5. This is the project that I gave you the hint about last week. So we're going to start making some length doubled over of this paper covered wire. Now if you don't have any of this paper covered wire, I love it. I get it from Amazon and I use it for all kinds of things. But these vegetables today, this corn and the peas, I thought it was the perfect medium to put these together. I also made a pumpkin out of it for my own decor to go on my tiered tray, but I didn't show you that one. It's a similar to this corn in the way it's made. So you take some lengths and you wrap them around and then you put beads on them. Now you'll notice I showed you 2 colors of beads. One is just the natural color bead that you get from Dollar Tree, and the other one is some beads that I took and I soaked for a couple of days in coffee and then let them dry, and it gave them that nice little darker look. And so since I wanted these to be kind of natural to go with my decor, I just mixed the beads, the natural beads, with the coffee colored beads, and then it gave it kind of that Indian corn look without being, you know, all that colorful Indian corn look. And then I put 12 beads onto each strand, and since I cut out 4 doubles, we've got 8 strands of these beads that are going to make up our little corn cob, or a little corn cob. It's not a cob, it's got the corn still on it. It's a corn. I don't know. Is it called something different? Let me know below. Once I have all those together, I am going to pull them up tight, and then I'm going to wrap that wire around itself and fold it over and twist it a little bit more, and that will give me something for my little husks to hold on to. And I'm just going to use some raffia, and I cut some lengths and folded it in half, and we're going to tie that around the top of that ear of corn. I guess that's what they're called, ear of corn. And that will just give us our little kind of tassel-y look on the corn. And I went ahead and made 2 of these, and I will also add those onto my tiered tray. I just love the way these turned out, and because they're neutral, they'll go with any kind of fall colors that you have. And here are my 2 ears of corn all completed, and I just think they are so stinking adorable. And here's another look at all of today's projects. We've got those pine cones and the little basket with the apples, and our truck and the corn and the pea pods. Let me know below which was your favorite today. And if you make one of these projects, send me pictures. I'd love to see them. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I really did enjoy our time together. Now, since you stuck around till the very end, I have a hint on one of next week's projects. You will need some tiny little terracotta pots. I have 3 of different sizes. and a twig from outdoors. But until then, make it a great day and happy Tuesday!